We are down to 5 teams remaining in the hunt for the 78th ISC World Title Crown here at beautiful Softball City in Surrey, British Columbia. The Hill United Chiefs staying alive in the most recent game as they downed the Toronto Batmen. And in this game, in, if you will, the loser's bracket side, it is the 3-1 Bear Creek Express coming off a very difficult 15-0 setback at the hands of the New York Gremlins, taking on the JB Bombers in a very similar lineup, at least the last couple of days. Letting off is Cesar Rodriguez. It's a team who has struggled to hit, and they will face 34-year-old Grand Prix Nova Scotia product Justin Schofield. He'll throw to Ryan Boland, Hillhorn, Galino, Riley James inserted back at third, Tommy Anoka, Jordan Pomeroy, and Colin Walsh in the outfield. The Bombers with a record of 4-1. They won 2 games yesterday. They downed the AWP Lumberjacks yesterday afternoon, scoring in the bottom of the 7th, and then scored in the bottom of the 8th to down the Circle Tap Dukes by a count of 3-2 in the final game that was played one night ago on Diamond number 2. Bear Creek were last year's finalists. JB in a very similar spot. They ended up the 2023 event in a tie for 5th place. They'd like to take another step as Rodriguez steps in and Schofield delivers a strike. Our home plate umpire today from Kitchener, Ontario is Trevor Topping. Terry Richter from Sherwood Park, Alberta is at first, and at third, Airdrie, Alberta's Daryl Helmer to work this all-important game. Still to come tonight at 6, it's the winner's bracket final. 2 4-0 teams, the reigning champion New York Gremlins and the Northeast Drillers, who won their 4th game in heart-stopping fashion last night over the Hill United Chiefs. Rodriguez is 3 for 15 here this week. He's doubled and scored a couple of runs. Change up from Schofield and a bounding ball over the head, and now Rodriguez trying to turn it into a leadoff double, and that is exactly what the JB Bomber center fielder will do. The Bombers coming into the game hitting only .218 as a team. They've stranded a lot of runners, but this game starts exactly the way they were hoping. It is a bounding ball to their credit, and you could tell on the look of the veteran Jason Hill's face that he was left in no man's land, no opportunity to make the play. And here is shortstop Jorge Lima, who moved from second to short earlier in the week after a really scary collision, broken rib or 2. For the starting shortstop, Ismael Pena, who of course no longer participating in the tournament. Lima has played in several Men's World Championships, now known as the World Cup, for Venezuela. And he swings and misses on the high rise from Schofield. Justin 1-0 in the tournament coming in, has pitched 8 innings, given up 2 runs, 4 hits, struck out 16, and walked 3. And now has given up hit number 5 to Cesar Rodriguez to open the game. In their first contest yesterday, in reference to JB, they stranded 9 runners on base before finally Nicholas Carril delivered a walk-off double to the gap to end the game in the bottom of the 7th. And we will keep an eye on some of those stats and others as this all-important game. Must-win scenarios for these teams. Schofield again upstairs, and Lima tried his best to stay off, but unable to. And Schofield has strikeout number 17 of the event. 13 of those Justin Schofield strikeouts came in a victory over Glowworm in his last outing, in which he pitched 6 1/3. And here is one of the reasons that JB is still alive. It is Nicholas Carril, moved up in the order. He's hitting in the number 3 spot. He is from Argentina. And 5 for 15 now with a double and a couple of important runs batted in. Carril helped Argentina to a 2019 Men's World Cup title in Prague in the Czech Republic. Or Czechia, if you will. Schofield resets himself and delivers to Carril, comes inside for a strike. Schofield has spoken openly about how COVID and that year, the work that he did during it, really helped him elevate his game as a pitcher. He worked a lot on the rise, tireless amount of hours that he put in, and I think it's fair to say that he's probably never thrown better, and he's 34 years of age. As Carril with a swing and a miss. Schofield threw very well for Canada earlier this summer at the WBSC Group B event in Prince Albert. Canada ending up 3rd in that event. But when you talk to the majority of the group about how things went, pitching wasn't a huge concern. And Schofield goes upstairs again as he sits down Carril for a second consecutive strikeout. And the one pitch that Schofield talked about was the rise ball, and his ability now coming out of COVID the last couple of years to throw it in 3 different zones. He gets Carril out with the high rise, and now longtime Venezuelan national team catcher Rafael Flores. But he's at first base today to where a Bishop will catch. Popped a mile in the air behind home plate, and nobody can get to it. Ryan Bolin just flat out couldn't find it. Difficult sun at this time of the day, as the sun has finally broken through after a cloudy morning here at gorgeous Softball City. So Flores will look to cash in on a break as Boland resets himself along with the pitcher. Ryan, known to many as Captain Canada, longtime starting catcher, and certainly likely to be in that spot next year when Prince Albert, Saskatchewan plays host to what I think has a chance to be one of the greatest men's softball tournaments ever played. No balls and a strike to Flores. His country of Venezuela might be there as the wild card team. 2 spots still available in an upcoming tournament, Group C, that'll be staged September 17th to the 21st in Oklahoma City, where the United States and Japan will be huge favorites to advance in that 6-team competition. And this time it's the Schofield changeup that swung on and missed by Flores. 5 for 16 coming into the game. He's homered and driven in a run. The Bombers strand a runner. Cesar Rodriguez opened the game in the inning with a double. but he never moved, thanks to 3 consecutive Schofield strikeouts. Bear Creek to bat when we return on the ISC Network.
Well hit, deep right field. It's curving. This one, well hit to deep right field this time, and that one is gone. Trying to put it away is Jack Besgrove. The New York Gremlins are world champions.
Congratulations, gentlemen.
Start spreading the news, Joe Todd. It's New York.
Miker Pimental, who's been one of the stars in the circle of this event, the 27-year-old from Venezuela, once again gets the ball. He'll face the likes of Brandon Horn, Travis Jones, Thomas Inoka, a very impressive player in the number 4 hole, and shortstop David Galino, Bolin, Walsh, Hill, Riley James, and Jordan Pomeroy to round it out. And there's a look at Miker Pimental throwing today to Tawera Bishop and the rest of the JB Bomber defense. Pimental, 4-1. He's pitched 28 2/3, given up 7 runs, 18 hits. He struck out 53 batters, including 16 in a 3-2 extra inning victory over Circle Tap to keep JB in the hunt last night, as he's down and away on the game's first pitch that he throws to Brandon Horn, the 38-year-old veteran from Waterloo, Ontario, who's 1 for 9 at Softball City this week. And you wonder what this gentleman might have left in the tank after all the work he has done. Came in relief yesterday in their first game of Luis Colombo to finish the job against AWP and went the distance, as I just mentioned, against their most recent opponent in a great game against the Circle Tap Dukes. Bear Creek looking to rebound from what could only be described as a rough night. The New York Gremlins never took their foot off the gas. 15-0 in 4 innings in a rematch of last year's title game. There'll be a few teams taking note of that one as Horn swings and misses on the outside drop ball and make it 54 strikeouts in the tournament for Pimental, who was absolutely lights out in the Group A WBSC event, leading Venezuela to a 5-0 mark in round-robin play, and then he ended up losing to the Dominican Republic in the 1-2 playoff game and to Jack Besgrove and Australia in the repechage game. They're still in a good position because of their rankings, talking about Venezuela, to qualify for next year's World Cup. But right now, Pimental has his sights set on helping the JB Bombers into another step towards a title here in Surrey. Facing Travis Jones, the 32-year-old who's 5 for 11. He's doubled, hit 2 homers, and driven in 4. He was really hot in the early going. In fact, he had hits in their first 3 games prior to last night. An 0 for 2 outing against Besgrove and the Gremlins. They are on deck in the winners bracket final tonight at 6, taking on the Northeast Drillers. Pimental misses away. As I mentioned, he's 27 years of age, but really coming into his own. Gets away from Bishop, who has a great arm, but not even he can track it down to make a play on Jones. So a strikeout, but gets on the pass ball. And it wouldn't be the first time in this tournament where Pimental was in a situation to have more strikeouts than outs. It occurred at one point in a 17 strikeout effort earlier this week in a game against the Kegel Black Knights. He had 17 on that evening. Thomas Anoka, the batter, a 33-year-old from Auckland, New Zealand. He's 3 for 11. He's doubled and driven in a run. And swings and misses on the inside offering from Pimental. Anoka, who's represented his country many times in world championships, including the most recent one in 2022 in his home country. And it didn't work out well for New Zealand. They finished 8th. They'll be back next year looking to improve upon that. And next year there will be only 8 teams total. That's a huge reason why I feel it might have an opportunity to be as great a world championship as ever been played. There will be no easy games for anyone, regardless. Pimental inside, much to the chagrin of Anoka, who goes down looking. So there's 2 outs in the inning, and he has 3 strikeouts. And now the hot-hitting David Galino, 6 for 10. 2 home runs, including a monster shot earlier this week, and 6 runs batted in. Certainly has to be in contention for all-world status. Was 5 for 13 in the event 1 year ago in Denmark, Wisconsin. And you can't miss the bright pink batting gloves. When you hit the way he has, use whatever you like. The 26-year-old from Venezuela facing a fellow countryman who goes upstairs but out of the zone. Galino generates terrific bat speed, as so many of the great hitters when you think about trying to hit 80 plus from 46 feet and more like 35 by the time it's released. Couldn't get around on that offering. With every passing year I watch this sport at the highest level, I still find myself being amazed at how anyone ever gets a hit. But there have been a lot of them this week. A lot of home runs. Too much Miker for the Bear Creek Express. He had to strike out 4 to get to 3 outs, but he did.
How confident are you in your organization's security posture? If your answer isn't 100%, You're not alone. Most organizations aren't doing enough to protect their data, and they know it. With Armitage technology, you can stop worrying about IT security issues so you can focus on moving your business forward. Our experienced staff monitor and maintain your IT infrastructure to keep your business running. Visit us at armitagetech.com and make your technology work for your business.
He came from Australia with a superstar pedigree. And from his first ISC in 2003, you knew he was going to be something special. 6 times All-World, a 3-time ISC champion, and now the first Aussie inducted into the ISC Hall of Fame. From counting materials and the farm in Wisconsin, to Kitchener, to finding a home in the New York Gremlins colours. Congratulations, Jeff Goolagong, from all of us.
Saw the Canadian flag blowing here in Surrey. First ISC World Tournament held in Canada going back to 2018 in Kitchener. Kitchener has been a regular Canadian site for this event, and I wonder if the event will be coming back here on a more regular basis. I've not heard anything but great comments about the area, the ballpark. I mean, it is a spectacular place. It really is. The Four Diamond Complex grounds crew has done an amazing job. 4 minutes from here, you make your way to White Rock. A little slice of heaven, to be honest. Tawera Bishop has only 1 hit so far, Softball City. It was a double in the game yesterday versus the AWP Lumberjacks. Won 1-0 on a Nicholas Career walk-off double in the bottom of the 7th. The Bombers have the only hit, a leadoff bouncing double off the bat of Cesar Rodriguez. You make a mistake to Bishop, it'll go a long way. But he's yet to really get on track here. Member of the New Zealand national team from Wellington. Hit it hard, but right at Galeno. Will take his time. It was after giving up that bounce double into right field. Schofield has struck out 3 and now induced the ground out to shortstop Galeno for out number 1. Juan Villavazo, his brother, Lenny, a member of the Hill United Chiefs, are both really good players. Juan is 4 for 15. Had a huge 2-run single and a 2-0 win early in the tournament to snap a scoreless game. As Schofield and Boland with a little contempt for the call on ball number 1. Villavazo won from Tijuana, Mexico. 4 for 15 here with 3 runs batted in. He had a really good game last night versus Circle Tap in the 3-2 8-inning triumph. He went 2 for 4. The Schofield's high rise is in fine form to begin this one. And he used it again. Villavazo, I think he wants a little extra grip on the bat. Chalks it up, and back in he comes. He was 5 for 21 last year in Denmark, Wisconsin. does not have an extra base hit this year. He had a double and a home run, and he won't have one here either. Unhittable. The location of that pitch from Justin Schofield. Had him leaning over the plate. No chance to pull the trigger. And now Vancouver, British Columbia's own Kyle Cowick. We've mentioned it all week, what a thrill it's been for so many of the British Columbia players to play this event in their home part of the world. Kyle's 3 for 10. He's doubled, tripled, homered, and knocked in 4 runs. Has played at third base all week for the Bombers. 2 for 6 as a member of the Bombers going back to 2018. He had a great Canadian championship in this park last year with a couple of home runs and 9 runs batted in. Down a couple of strikes here with 2 out in the top of the second. Only 5 teams. We began last Saturday with 36 with a hope of winning it all. Now there are 5. Of course, they're still contesting the ISC 2 tournament title. But this is the main event. And did that get a bite of Cowick? Apparently it did. So he's on base as he removes his protective gear. Just a little contact. And now, a rare at-bat for Mario Hernandez, who's acting today as the designated player. Seen Jorge Pena in that spot the last couple of days. Has everything to do with the injury a couple of nights ago to shortstop Ismael Pena, out with at least one broken rib, I understand, and maybe a couple others that are cracked. And if you've ever broken or cracked ribs, to suggest it's not a fun experience would be quite an understatement. As Hernandez, no match for that lower rise from Schofield. Ball and 2 strikes. Has struck out 4 already, as has the opposition pitcher, Miker Pimentel. And thanks to a pass ball, he did it in 1 inning. The 1-2, a changeup. Schofield has it going on early. Runs might be tough to come by in this one. We'll head to the bottom of the second.
HRD Bat Co. owners Nick Shales and Trevor Oakes want to bring the best quality bats to baseball players all over the world. Our pro-grade wood combined with our finish process makes them some of the hardest bats with the biggest pop in the game. Customization is our specialty. We offer a variety of handcrafted models and unlimited design. Visit us at hrdbatco.com. Play hard, swing hard.
Does your game need work? Want to get better every game? Every at-bat? You need Lumberjack Sports, focusing on exceptional quality and providing players with reliable, long-lasting product. Lumberjack Sports brings you in-game equipment and off-field workout gear, designed and tested by top fastball player Nick Shales. Hard work, strength, and all-around commitment
36-year-old Ryan Bolin leads things off for the Bear Creek Express, who made it all the way to last year's title game. In fact, they came through the winner's bracket to advance there before losing to the New York Gremlins in the championship final. Change up, in on the hands, and the first out recorded by Micah Pimental that was not a strikeout, but very much involved in it as he handles the bouncer right back at him. Reflecting back on watching him on video in Hermosillo, Mexico at the WBSC event, he's a very capable fielder, and he's shown it here on more than one occasion too, as he delivered a strike to 31-year-old Colin Walsh. Back in right field today, did not participate in the loss last night to the Gremlins. And a very versatile performer. Plays with no shortage of intensity either. So Pimental and Schofield look locked in a must-win scenario. The Hill United Chiefs kept their title hopes alive earlier today with a win over the Toronto Batmen, who put forth another quality effort, the reigning Canadian senior men's champions. Ty Sebastian, I believe, ended up with 70 strikeouts, but seemed to run out of gas. On the ground, Cowick. 2 away. Fielded that cleanly off the bat of Colin Walsh. 39-year-old Jason Hill will turn 40 on the 12th of September. He's 1 for 6. He's doubled and driven in a run. He did not participate in the game last night versus the Gremlins and draws back in this must-win scenario. One of his most memorable hitting performances came at the 2015 World Cup in Saskatoon, where he helped Canada win the gold medal. Batted .409 in that particular event. Was a 3-time All-World member in this tournament. Many years ago now, going back to 2007, 8, and 9 with the Farm. The conference, and back to work will go Pimental. Jason was actually the best Bear Creek hitter in the final last year against Jack Besgrove and the Gremlins. He had 2 hits in the championship game, but they lost that contest. I believe the final score was 5-1. 2 balls and a strike to him here as Pimental misses outside. And a hitter's count for the veteran Hill. The Express in search of their first hit. As Micah finds a little extra with that rise. Has not hit 80 as of yet on our speed radar. Hill trying to break up his rhythm a little bit, asking for time for the upcoming full count pitch. The little delay was no factor. Strikeout number 5 for Miker. And we're through 2 in a must-win game at Softball City for these 2 opponents.
Do you need a reliable supply of products to run your business? Are you tired of having to deal with multiple suppliers to get everything you need? Absolute Business Supply is your dedicated, full-service business supply partner offering over 400,000 products and unmatched customer service. At ABS, we aren't just selling products. We offer a commitment to building meaningful relationships with our customers, getting to know your business goals so we can provide the best possible solutions for your needs. Find us on the web at absolutebusinesssupply.ca and let us get it for you.
Just 1 hit through 2 innings. As Miker Pimental and Justin Schofield have been dominant early, which is no surprise, I wouldn't think, to anyone. The Bombers have struggled to hit this week, but have delivered some big hits at key times. They have the only hit of this game, Cesar Rodriguez bounding double into shallow right field that went over the head of first baseman Jason Hill after it hit about 4 feet from home plate. Rodriguez due up. This is Aaron Francisco Torres, who's looking for his first hit of the event. He's 0 for 10. And Schofield haven't said it for a couple of days, but I always refer to him in this regard. Throws every pitch like it might be his last. He gives you everything he's got. And he's got the grunt going today. Slips back to 2-2 in this count. He has 5 strikeouts. So does Pimental. Change up and a gem. As Torres' hitting woes continue. That pitch would have given almost any batter a difficult time in the competition. Here's the gentleman with the only hit so far, Rodriguez. Up to 4 of them here at Softball City. Had 5 in last year's JB Bombers run. They ended up tied for 5th, which if they fail to win this game is exactly the same finishing spot they would have in the year 2024. They'd like to take another step. The winner will have a date with Hill United tomorrow. Ball and a strike to Rodriguez, who played for Mexico in their last World Cup appearance in Prague in 2019. Mexico did not participate in the 2022 tournament in New Zealand. And Mexico will not find themselves in the 2025 event, but don't be surprised if that changes in the years to come following next year. We have seen a lot of very talented Mexican players on display. And they have some good young pitching in the country, too. Well, the 34-year-old Canadian sits down Rodriguez this time with his 7th strikeout, and there are 2 away for JB in the top half of the 3rd inning. Jorge Lima steps into the batter's box. He struck out as Rodriguez opened the game and failed to move after the leadoff double. That's a great change. Stays down. The location so important, but good arm motion as well. You don't see a lot of change. Lima high in the air. This has a chance to make it out of play, and it does. And a nice catch down the line by one of the on-looking members of the Sydney, Australia Tropics. Looks like might be one of their coaching staff down there. Couple of strikes to Jorge Lima. Had a really impressive 2017 World Championship, did this gentleman, when he went 9 for 19 with 4 home runs and 10 runs batted in. That tournament played in Canada, up in Whitehorse. As Canada played host to back-to-back World Cups in 2015 and 2017 before the scene shifted to beautiful Prague in 2019 and then New Zealand in 2022. Prime Minister's Park in Prince Albert. The site of the next one, next July 8th. If you're watching and you want to watch a fabulous event, I highly recommend it. Schofield with right to left movement. 3 more Schofield strikeouts. He's up to 8. And we are in search of the game's first run. Does it get much better than that from the drone? Well, at least when they're working.
Let's talk about a local one-stop shop. Live Well for Life is just that, a fitness, nutrition, and therapy facility all under one roof. Located at 3878 Wellington Street in Mitchell, Ontario, you can get so much done in just one visit. A full complement of staff on hand include chiropractic, massage, and personal training to get you back to your healthy self. Find them on the web at livewellforlifeinc.com or give Live Well for Life.
Well, the concessions, the food trucks, the great restaurant, they've been busy places here at Softball City. Is Riley James, the 21-year-old Australian, makes his way to home plate. He's not participated in the last couple of Bear Creek Express games. He's 2 for 4 this week with 2 runs batted in. He's already, at his tender age, won a World men's U23 title and a U18 World Cup. Played for his country at the senior men's level in Hermosillo, Mexico, back in early June. A very bright future for Riley James from Queensland. Ball and 2 strikes is the count that he deals with. As Pimentel misses up and out. Both pitchers in fine form. Only 1 hit so far in the 6th total at bat between the two teams. Did James go? Daryl Helmer of Airdrie, Alberta, Canada says no. And Kyle Cowick giving him the business. It was close, as you just had another look at yourself. And by the way, thank you for tuning in no matter where you're looking on in our great world. There's no question about going around on that one. It's strikeout number 6 for Pimentel. And that is one of the things about this sport that I think needs to be mentioned. We've seen far more Japanese national team members in this tournament than ever before, and it's really grown internationally. Talk about what has occurred, the powerhouse Argentina has become, Venezuela, of course, Canada, New Zealand, Australia, the reigning world champs, Czechia making great strides. Love all the international flavor here. It makes for great competition, both at the club level and internationally. Jordan Pomeroy, he's played internationally for Canada in a couple of different age groups, including the senior men's level. He participated in Prince Albert at the WBSC Group B event. He's 24 years of age, the Newfoundlander. Great speed. A couple of years ago, he made a catch, I believe it was in Mitchell, Ontario, that you can still find on your favorite social media platform. I think it drew over a couple of million views, and for good reason. I think I've watched it 35 times myself. Went catapulting over a breakaway type fence to make a great catch, but can't catch up to the rise ball from Pimentel. There have been a lot of hits. There have been a lot of home runs. My guess is, not sure if we're in a record position for home runs in the tournament, but this one is off to what I would call an old school start. If you've been watching this game for a lot of years at a high level, times in the 70s and 80s in particular where be a lot of 1-0 and 2-1s in games like these. Brandon Horn finds himself down a couple of strikes. Bear Creek trying to deliver a hit. They've yet to do it here this afternoon. And they just broke it in terms of the hitless streak. It's Brandon Horn who goes the other way with that pitch. And the Express have their second base runner. Their first came on a pass ball after a strikeout. And now Travis Jones, the 32-year-old from Ontario. His hometown has about 20 letters in it. I haven't even quite figured out how to even give it a try. And when your last name is Lubardius, you're not afraid to give most syllabic, lengthy ones a go. I don't want to embarrass myself on that name. So Horn on the base hit to left. And see if they can start to string a couple together. And I think it's really important to note adjustments that are made when you've gone through the order. Bishop thought it was strike 3, so he wasn't in a position to come up throwing, and Brandon Horn takes advantage with a stolen base to move into scoring position and becomes the first Bear Creek Express runner to find himself in that spot. We've yet to have a runner in this game advance past second base. And we won't here either. Found a little extra on the rise, did Miker Pimentel, who adds 3 more strikeouts of his own in the bottom of the third. Both pitchers have 8. Eaten or feasted at either one of those spots, you're probably feeling at least 8 out of 10 to the good.
Welcome to Mont Hill Golf and Country Club. With our beautiful 27-hole golf course open to the public, we work tirelessly to ensure your time with us is second to none. Well, here you'll be able to enjoy an incredible dining experience at our very own Big Pete's Steakhouse. Play some of the best courses in the world with our state-of-the-art golf simulators. Upgrade your gear with the top brands at our pro shop, or host a stunning wedding, event, or conference inside one of our beautiful ballrooms. Learn all this and more at monthill.ca. We can't wait to see you.
For the best Bear Tent banter on the airwaves, listen to Dust Up with Hilly and Lolly. Here's some of the biggest stars chatting with 2 of Newfoundland's own, Jason Hill and Steve Mullally. It's unfiltered and uncensored. Dust Up with Hilly and Lolly, wherever you get your podcasts. Yes, bye.
Nicholas Carril in the batter's box to open inning number 4 in the 0-0 game. Must win for both to keep their ISC world title hopes alive. Each team with a hit. Both pitchers have 8 strikeouts apiece through 3. Which group is going to be able to make the adjustment? Or will both these 2 pitchers, Schofield and Pimentel, continue to be overpowering for these respective lineups? The New York Gremlins and the Northeast Drillers in a winner's bracket battle of 4-0 teams. The last game of the day, a little earlier, slated for 6 o'clock. We're a little behind. And I'm going to guess we're probably going to be more in the 7 o'clock neighborhood as Schofield wastes little time registering his 9th of the game. Justin had 13 strikeouts in his last game against Glowworm. And here's Rafael Flores. Little tailing action that misses outside. So Schofield and Boland working in great combination this afternoon, as are Pimentel and Bishop. Because Flores is at first for this game. And Flores, who I would suggest wears his emotions on his sleeve, his arms, his elbows, his toes, with a look back. He's an animated guy. One grunt coming in, one big grunt going out. Like a tennis match. As Justin wants a different ball to work with. He's going to come all the way to see Mr. Topping behind home plate to make a decision. I'm sure Mr. Flores is participating in the conversation, and he is. Be fair to say he never met one he didn't like. Now he's actually helping out, rubbing up the ball. Well, that's kind of him. They'll rub that one up and maybe keep it for Miker. Ball and 2 strikes to Rafa Flores. Comes inside with a drop. Out of the zone that time. Flores an impressive 8 for 21 at the World Cup qualifier. And this one, Galeno tries to play off the side. And Flores finds himself at first base. Not sure. It was a hard hit ball. If Galeno had an opportunity to get behind this, got on him in a hurry, but he couldn't come up with it. And it's a base hit, just the second of the game for the Bombers. And the catcher is not delivered quite yet this week the way he would have liked to. 1 for 12 with a double, but he is more than capable of changing a game in a hurry with one swing and be ready in the parking lot if he gets one. He tried, but missed. These two squared off as well in some key altercations in Prince Albert internationally earlier this year. And Bishop can't catch up as Schofield wins this battle. And that high rise has been dynamite for the pride of Grand Prix Nova Scotia this afternoon. Base runners have been hard to come by in this one. So have hits. There have only been 3 of them. Juan Villavazo wants to change it and will. Flores made the turn and then covered up his head, worried about maybe a ball coming back in his direction or maybe something else. So Villavazo with a sharp hit to the outfield. And for the second time, in the contest, the JB Bombers have a runner in scoring position. They did in the top of the first, and now, after a couple of fourth inning hits off Schofield, I'm told that is Yuri Dostal working the plate, and now as I get a better look, he is from Prague. I did have Trevor Topping on my sheet. And we are directly behind them, so not always easy to tell. So Kyle Cowick with a chance to break it open, and a rare pitch that gets away from Schofield. And now the Bombers really threatening. Cowick was, if you will, nicked by a pitch to reach base. His first time up today. So with friends and family in attendance from nearby Vancouver, it's a suburb really of Vancouver is what it is, here in Surrey. And that had quality movement. Looked to be at the knees for a strike. Flores, the runner, at third. Villavazo down at second now. Crucial moment. Big at bat. An opportunity for Pomeroy. It has been, at times, a regular refrain for the JB Bombers from Agoura, California. Runners left on base, 2 of them in the 4th.
The annual Boys of Summer tournament is held every July at the Circle Tap Bar and Grill in Denmark, Wisconsin. We host some of the top teams in the game at one of the best venues in softball. The atmosphere of old-time fast pitch with all of the amenities of a full-service bar and grill in the grounds can't be beat. Reduced-rate hotels about 10 minutes from the park are available in Green Bay. To bring your team to the annual Boys of Summer tournament next July, contact Dean Kane at deankane16@gmail.com. Thanks to Circle Tap for
It's like Grandma and Grandpa and the grandkids. Great place to be on this Friday afternoon as they wave and we wave back. Great to have you here. And great to have you joining us on the ISC network. Down to 5 teams in the hunt for the 78th contested ISC world title. We'll crown a champion tomorrow evening. And see if the Bear Creek Express, as they make their way through the order, start to adjust to what Miker Pimental is offering. The Bombers did have 2 of their 3 hits off of Schofield in the last inning. Anoka punches one, and it gets by Nicholas Carril. Anoka's on his way to third. He'll get the stop sign there. Not sure if Carril loses this or just missed it. Looked like he just missed it. So a base hit and a 2-base error. And Thomas Anoka reaches third base for the Express following their second hit of the afternoon, and David Galino. Probably the guy you want to have up. Been the most consistent and dangerous hitter in the Bear Creek lineup this week. He is 6 for 11, but did strike out versus Pimental to end the first and able to lay off the high rise at 80 on the radar. As the park has a buzz about it. Infield in. They'll ask. I don't think he went. And the third base umpire agrees. Viavazo really playing the left-handed, hitting Galino more up the middle. And he has shown probably more power to center and left, although he's more than capable of getting those quick hands around and pulling one to the right side of the diamond. If he does here, with the exception of hitting it right at Rafa Flores, who's a couple of steps back, and now they're going to put him on. So at 3 balls and a strike, they'll stay away from David Galino and instead opt to face catcher Ryan Boland. As Pimental, who did give up a hit to Anoka, but was not supported, you might suggest, the way he would have liked to in right field, because one base turned into 3. No one out in the bottom of the 4th. The Hill United Chiefs, winners earlier today on this side of the bracket over the Toronto Batmen, will face the winner of this game tomorrow. The winner's bracket final, the New York Gremlins and the Northeast Drillers, still to come tonight. Likely a little later than 6, but who knows? Boland takes ball 1. The 36-year-old catcher from St. John's, Newfoundland. He'll turn 37 on October the 5th. And had the patience to stay off of that rise ball. Great chance for the Express. And when you haven't had many, you don't want to leave them. Hard hit. Lima for 1 and the double play, but the run scores. As Viavazo and Lima combine on a pretty 6-4-3 double play. Lima, the shovel and the quick turn. About as good as you can do it from Viavazo. But Anoka scores from third base, and Bear Creek breaks the deadlock. They lead it 1-0. But that play takes away the chance of maybe a large inning, you would think. And Boland hit it hard. That's some play by Lima. And the great turn. Excellent footwork and release. As Colin Walsh takes a strike. Our first run, and it'll be unearned. In fact, for Pimental, only 3 of the now 8 runs he has given up have been earned runs here. We'll double check that between innings. Colin Walsh would like to start another rally if he can, but flails on a quality drop from Pimental. So he only gave up the hit, but a big 2-base error, a huge contributor in the game's first run as Bear Creek strikes first.
This business was opened in 1965 by my father, Ned Matiosi. Could have walked in here 25, 30 years ago and seen just about the same thing. The process of making a suit takes about 6 weeks. It goes through about 12 or 13 hands as it's moved along the line. It's an old-time place. Making stuff from scratch here in the city at a reasonable cost. It's a very personal type of business.
The Bear Creek Express in front as they ended up scoring on a beautifully turned double play, but a single that turned into Thomas Anoka making his way to third on a 2-base error to Nicholas Carril. Set it all up as Mario Hernandez opens the top of the 5th for the JB Bombers, who have 3 hits, 1 more than the Express do so far in the game. Hernandez, who has barely played, in search of his first hit of the competition. Been a great pitcher's duel, as we might have expected, and Sean Cleary, the longtime ace of the Canadian national men's team staff, about to start warming up. Bear Creek coming off, you almost don't even like to utter the number, 15-0. 4-inning loss to the New York Gremlins in a winner's bracket semifinal here last night. Schofield to change high and out of the zone. He's given his team 4 really good innings, but they started to get to him just a little with a couple of hits in the last half. Hernandez doesn't get to that. It's strikeout number 11. And the first out of the 5th. Iran Torres. He would love to put himself in the win, or at least in that column too. But first off the hit column, he has not been able to deliver a hit. He had 3 of them in the tournament last year in Denmark, Wisconsin. 2 of them were home runs. And does go around on a bunt attempt. And when it's not going well, why not put one in play and see if you can use your excellent speed to get on board, especially when you're down a run and the innings start getting away. in a must-win game for both teams. There's strike two. Cleary warming. We have not seen any activity, which would be in the case of the JB Bombers. Luis Colombo, who pitched 4 1/3 quality innings in their 1-0 win yesterday afternoon over the AWP Lumberjacks. They walked that game off, and then the Bombers walked another one off in an 8-inning triumph last night over the Circle Tap Dukes, who recorded one of the great comebacks you'll ever see. The Dukes in their first game were down 9-4 against the Oma Tigre going into the bottom of the 7th. They scored 5 and then added another in the 8th to win that game 10-9 before bowing out in a dandy to the Bombers last night. And more Torres troubles at home plate as he goes down swinging. Cesar Rodriguez has a double today and has struck out. He opened the game with a bouncing double into shallow right over the head of first baseman Jason Hill. He's 4 for 17 is Cesar Rodriguez. Schofield continues to pour the ball into the strike zone. Five total hits in the game, 3 belong to the Bombers. In the last inning, they had runners at third and second, couldn't cash in. Their team batting average will tell a story in regards of being in this position in the tournament and yet came into the day only hitting a collective .218. But here they are, still in contention, still right in the thick of this one. And the .218 in this game will be dropping. As the drop from Schofield finds the outside corner on that occasion. See if he stays away or comes up and in, or maybe even the change here. He has options and good ones. Up, but out of the zone. Went up and away. And the count runs full. There is definitely some pop in the middle of the order. It's one of the differences with the Bombers. I don't think it's unfair to suggest that their lineup really changes at about the 5 spot. With every game I call, you know there's going to be one that's not too far away after it leaves a bat. But nobody harmed. That was not the case last night as ISC Hall of Famer Rob Schweier was actually struck in the top of the head, but that ball wasn't foul from a game played here. It was from one of the nearby diamonds. There's balls flying in here like nobody's business last night in that great game between Hill United and the Northeast Drillers. 1 on 2 and not conventional runs either, I might add, for the Drillers, who have a team batting average well over 400. Gave up a run in the 7th to trail 3-2, and then aided by one of the most unbelievable bounces over a second baseman's head you'll ever see. Pass ball tied the game. And then Jordan Solorio, who's had a wonderful week for the Northeast Drillers. Speedy outfielder. Hit a slow ground ball. Nick Shales over at third really only had one option to try to barehand it and throw all in one motion and couldn't quite pull it off. And the Drillers won it 4-3. But Hill United responded well earlier today and posted a win over the Toronto Batmen. And Schofield just threw a very impressive 3-2 drop ball. 3 more Schofield strikeouts in the 5th. He's up to 13. It's the second time in the tournament he's had 13 Ks. His team leads by a run.
Welcome to Mont Hill Golf and Country Club. With our beautiful 27-hole golf course open to the public, we work tirelessly to ensure your time with us is second to none. Well, here you'll be able to enjoy an incredible dining experience at our very own Big Pete's Steakhouse. Play some of the best courses in the world with our state-of-the-art golf simulators. Upgrade your gear with the top brands at our pro shop, or host a stunning wedding, event, or conference inside one of our beautiful ballrooms. Learn all this and more at monthill.ca. We can't wait to see you soon.
The Bear Creek Express, aided by a 2-base outfield error in the 4th, have a 1-0 lead over Miker Pimental, who's been terrific. Struck out 9. He's given up just the 2 hits. Jason Hill just underneath it. And taken care of in center by Cesar Rodriguez for out number 1. Hill just missed that. Fair to suggest. And here's third baseman Riley James, the youngster from Australia, just 21. He's batting in the 8th spot. He struck out his only time up, makes good contact. Always makes such a big difference when you go through the order once and you have a chance to really adjust and understand who and what you're dealing with. James faced Pimental. He's quite familiar a number of times at the WBSC Group A event in Hermosillo, Mexico. A stab by Flores. And Pimental on the cover for out number 2. Well executed. As James gets around on Pimental's inside pitch. And Flores does well. Primarily a catcher. Two away for Jordan Pomeroy. And he's capable of dropping down a bunt, has great speed. The 24-year-old from Newfoundland. Placentia. Pimental settles back in. Squared up, and see you later, says Jordan Pomeroy. A home run for the Newfoundlander. And it's 2-0 Bear Creek. He got all of it. Well worth another look. right over the bleachers in right center. And could that be the blow that closes the deal? Jordan Pomeroy takes Miker Pimental deep. 2-0. His second run batted in. His first came in a win over the Ostrander Norsemen earlier this week. Jordan had 4 home runs in last year's ISC World Tournament in Denmark, Wisconsin. He was a second-team All-World member. Had a hit last night against the Gremlins and a huge one in this game. It's a good time of the week to get heated up. Brandon Horn with a hit today. Not here. Pomeroy pounces one from Pimental and knocked it out of here. 2-0, the Express in the lead after 5.
Let's talk about a local one-stop shop. Live Well for Life is just that, a fitness, nutrition, and therapy facility all under one roof. Located at 3878 Wellington Street in Mitchell, Ontario, you can get so much done in just one visit. A full complement of staff on hand include chiropractic, massage, and personal training to get you back to your healthy self. Find them on the web at livewellforlifeinc.com or give
Live Well for Life, a proud sponsor of the broadcast program.
Oh, the Bombers now trailing by a pair after the solo shot off the bat of Jordan Pomeroy that's given Bear Creek a 2-0 lead. And Schofield with his 13 strikeouts delivers a strike to Jorge Lima, the fine shortstop, who moved into that spot after a collision and an injury couple of days ago to the starter Ismael Pena. He gets a hold of this, and it is just foul. Got his hands quickly around on the rise ball, pulled it. You saw the end result, our great shot from our terrific camera woman, Carol Dureste. Boy, she's had a marvelous week. So Lima that close to getting the Bombers right back in it. Popped, Hill with room. Uses a little cushion. As Lima still looking towards that spot where he hit the previous pitch. Nicholas Carrillo, the right fielder, and unfortunately for the product of Argentina, he was very involved earlier. A ball off the bat of Thomas Inoka. a single. I don't know if he lost it a little bit in the lights or in the sun, pardon me. But it got by him to the fence, and a single became a triple, and Jason Hill's in some discomfort. He's the athletic therapist out to deal with him. I don't know if he hurt himself. Must have on that pop-up. He did make some contact with the fence and the screen right at the dugout. Looks like he's going to be all right. They waved in a hurry to get him some attention, so looked fairly non-threatening, but you just never know. Doesn't take much sometimes. So an out made by Lima after the near home run. And Nicholas Curiel would like to make contact. He hasn't yet. And Schofield starts him with one of his better changeups of the afternoon. Nice crowd is formed here in the main diamond for this big game. We'll have another game from the ISC 2 tournament coming up next year, and then the big one of the day, the winners bracket final, the reigning champion Gremlins and the Northeast Drillers. Besgrove versus Waymo-Mata. I would certainly be stunned if it wasn't. In a game that might not start on time. Curiel, it's drifting. Not far enough. So that's the second near miss back to back. That one not as close. And the pitch was up in his eyes. And he almost whacked it out of here. And caught by the left fielder. And this guy is more than capable of going from near miss, but an easy one-hopper for Galeno this time. It wasn't easy, but the Bombers go down 1-2-3. They're down to 3 outs to keep their tournament title hopes alive at Softball City.
Dreamcatcher, inch by inch, we'll fight to make the lives of First Nations people in this community, this province, and on this continent better. I know we have a long way to go, but I'm proud to say as long as our people have a need, Dreamcatcher will be there for them.
Runs in the 4th and the 5th off Miker Pimental. One a Jordan Pomeroy solo homer in the 5th. As the JB Bombers came very close to getting on the board not once but twice, but failed to against Justin Schofield, who's pitched 6 scoreless innings and has been given just enough offense to work with. is Travis Jones, who has a couple of home runs in his own right in the tournament, facing Pimental, who most certainly will be an all-world pitcher, either first or second team here. When those decisions are made, he's been terrific. Yielded only 3 hits. An error figured very prominently into the first run by Bear Creek in the 4th. In fact, they scored that run when Ryan Bolin grounded into a double play after a 2-base error. The one mistake Pimental made came in the last inning to Pomeroy. Pimental wanted to check on the Jones swing, the 22-year-old or the 32-year-old. They did not appeal, and it's 2-2 to Travis. And Pimental has his 11th strikeout of the day and his 64th of the tournament. I believe that only Ty Sebastian ended up with more of them. I think his final count was 70 or 71. Remember, he had a perfect game, 20 strikeout effort in the Batman's opening game here last Saturday, which in some ways feels like it was yesterday, and in other ways feels like it was 2 weeks ago, depending on the moment. No, it's gone by quickly this week, which always tells you that it's been good. Thomas Anoka involved in a very critical play. He scored the game's first run after a single and then wound up at third on a 2-base error to the right fielder, Nicholas Carril, who I think fought it in the sun. It's clouded over, but sometimes that makes it even more difficult. When it's bright, ball can be easier to find. Sometimes, not always. Ball and 2 strikes to the pride of Auckland, New Zealand. They will check this time, and the answer is no. Two balls and 2 strikes to Thomas Anoka. On the inside corner for strike 3. Anoka didn't like it. First view, it looked pretty good. Bishop might have framed it a little bit, not a lot. Got the call nonetheless. And here's David Galino, 6 hits in the tournament, does not have one today. He's struck out and walked in the game. And tried to make it 3-0 with that swing. He probably tries to add to the lead with nearly every one of his swings. Quick hands. The Bear Creek Express shortstop, who's from Venezuela. He's 26 years of age. The JB Bombers have had another good tournament. Tied for 5th last year, would be in the same place again this time around if they can't find their way back in the 7th. They'd like to do it down only a couple. 2 out in the inning on 2 more strikeouts. Galino stays alive. I've not seen a Pimental pitch higher on the radar than 82. Most of the day, 79, 80. One of the harder throwers. Another 1-2 pitch to Galeno. The rise ball, too much. Well, if that is Miker Pimental's last pitch, apropos, 13 more strikeouts. He had a 17 strikeout game, a 16 strikeout game, and now a 13 strikeout game. All he wants is to make his way back to the circle. His team has work to do.
Welcome to Mont Hill Golf and Country Club. With our beautiful 27-hole golf course open to the public, we work tirelessly to ensure your time with us is second to none. Well, here you'll be able to enjoy an incredible dining experience at our very own Big Pete's Steakhouse. Play some of the best courses in the world with our state-of-the-art golf simulators. Upgrade your gear with the top brands at our pro shop, or host a stunning wedding, event, or conference inside one of our beautiful ballrooms. Learn all this and more at monthill.ca. We can't wait to see you soon.
The JV Bombers have walked off their last two opponents, the AWP Lumberjacks and the Circle Tap Dukes. They're not in that position right now, but they need to find a couple of runs, or their 2024 ISC Men's World Tournament will come to a conclusion. Miker Pimental, as he has in every game, has given them a chance. Tawera Bishop versus Justin Schofield. The Bombers 3 hits. Schofield with 13 strikeouts. He was touched up for 2 hits. The best Bomber opportunities as far as base runners, they had runners at second and third in the fourth. Schofield versus Tawera Bishop. And the Bombers, on not one but 2 occasions in the 6th, nearly cut into the 2-0 lead. They have no choice now. Here in the top of the 7th. Change up. Schofield has thrown a whale of a game. 1-0 in the tournament coming in. His last game, an impressive 6 1/3 over Glowworm a couple of days ago. He did not pitch in the loss last night to the Gremlins that moved them into this part of the bracket. And there is strikeout number 14, a tournament high for Justin Schofield. Had 13 in the game I was referring to versus the Glowworm. And this has been his best pitch today. That rise has had big-time movement most of the afternoon. Juan Villavazzo, he delivered a base hit his last time up. Takes a whack at another rise in the same spot. They have been unable most of the day to either time that up or, more importantly, stay away from it. This time he works down with a drop but misses to even the count at a ball and a strike. The Hill United Chiefs will face the winner tomorrow as they down the Toronto Batmen to keep their title hopes alive. The winners bracket final coming your way later today. The Northeast Drillers against the reigning champion New York Gremlins, who have outscored their opponents 48-2 in 4 wins and have rarely required more than 4 or 5 innings in games to do it. Their team batting average is .474. The Drillers' team batting average is .411. Viavazo out of the way. And a hitter's count for 1. Three balls and a strike. The Bombers down to their last couple of outs. But they have people capable of changing the score quickly, including the guy who just fouled it back to the screen. Kyle Cowick on deck. Been a good one, as we expected. A pitcher's duel. Schofield is winning it. An error played a huge role in the 4th, and so did a solo shot from Pomeroy, and Viavazo was leaning in, and Justin Schofield found the inside corner, according to home plate umpire Yuri Dostal from Prague. He does like to lean over the plate. Busted him in. And now Bear Creek 1 out away from moving into this tournament's Final 4. Change up to Cowick is a ball. He is from Vancouver. I'm sure he's had a very enjoyable week. He'd like to keep it going, though. Pinch hitter Jorge Pena is on deck. Schofield doesn't want to deal with him. Canadian versus Canadian in this altercation. He's the only Canadian on this JB Bombers team. Cowick able to lay off. That's been the pitch of the day for Schofield. He's up to 15 strikeouts. Wants to close it. Cowick thought it was high again. Called a strike. Schofield will check on the 2 steps that he takes. The first one and then the landing spot before release. That finishes it. Justin Schofield with a gem. A 3-hit, 16 strikeout shutout of the JB Bombers. And they'll advance to tomorrow and the Final 4 to face the Hill United Chiefs. Congratulations on another quality tournament for a second straight year. The JB Bombers, who were led this week by the marvelous pitching of Miker Pimental, will end up in a tie for 5th place. Hope you enjoyed it. I know I did. For Carl Dureste, Luciano Lafrano, and the rest of our group, so long for now from Softball City in Surrey, British Columbia.
In Softball Innovation, the website where you can experience the best tournaments in the Americas. Live games, news, tournaments, and much, much more. The best quality live softball, on demand so you can watch when you want. Become a Premier member now. SoftballPremierTV.com. Live it on Softball Premier.